The following thoughts and opinions we're going to discuss regarding this album are strictly of our own personal interests. We are not professional music reviewers. We encourage respectful discussion and friendly banter in each episode, but we do not condone and will not tolerate bullying or belligerence. You are welcome to take what we say regarding the albums we rate with a grain of salt.
Well, hello there, everybody, and welcome to another episode of the Rate the Record podcast, episode 45. But it's not just a new episode today. No, obviously it is a brand new season, the first episode of season 3. Look how far we are now. It's this many.
So, 1, 2, 3.
I think you got it better than me. I held up all my fingers because
Yay!
I knew the right answer's in here somewhere.
Oh, of course. It depends what your prescription is in your eyes.
Mine is terrible. And one of the blind hosts for today are Kris and
the other blind one is Savannah.
Fair enough. I guess we're both blind. I don't wear my glasses on the show, but you go on and off of whether or not you do.
Yeah, I have to wear contacts or else I have no idea who you are.
Exactly. And I'm diabetic, so I'm pretty sure I'm just going to lose my sight over time.
Every time you bring that up, I'm just like, should I laugh? Should I not? So I laugh anyways.
Just do it. It's fine. I don't care. I make the jokes so they can be funny. It's the only way I can deal with the sadness of being a diabetic.
Oh.
But anyways, on that sad note, welcome to the podcast. Welcome back if you've been here before, but overall, just welcome to the brand new season of Rate the Record. We got a lot of great albums coming out this month. Not just this month, I should say this season, because the season's going to be a lot longer than a month long.
Oh my gosh. Very long and very fruitful.
Exactly. Sure. But not as long as season 2, which was last season, 27 episodes. Don't worry, it's not going to be that long this time around. It's all good. So we can have a lot more fun with just maybe fewer albums this time around. Mm-hmm. So if you have been here before, you were here last season, season 1, whenever you were here, welcome back. We're glad to have you for a brand new season. We hope you'll join us for this journey along the way and everything like that. So you know what to expect, but there are people out there not knowing what to expect, the brand new people in the crowd. If that's one of you, well, welcome to the show. We hope you enjoy your stay. We hope you have a lot of fun here. We want you to be part of the musical community that we're building brick by brick by brick. As per usual, you know, that's never stopped. New season, same construction method. Just like a lot of construction things in like major cities, how it takes years and years and years just to build like a 5-foot wall. That's us.
And it's not like that building they built down the street where they just took a wall with a crane and just built an entire floor in an afternoon.
Exactly.
It's not like that. Brick by brick, baby.
All right. So if you don't know what we do here, you're brand new, you don't know what we do, that's fine. Let's explain it since, you know, first episode of the new season, why not? So every week that we're actually on the air, Savannah and I will choose an album, be completely at random, just our own choices. Maybe it's an anniversary pick, like it's celebrating some sort of milestone, or maybe it's a fan request, listener request, whatever you want to call it. We do take plenty of requests. Trust me, we got more coming up this season. Oh, yeah. Regardless, we do take an album, we discuss it at length, we rank the songs, and then we rate the record. Wow, we didn't plan that. We actually kind of hit it off a little bit there. That's good.
I didn't know you were going to drop off at the end, but I'm really glad we both did.
Well, because not even looking at the screen, I started to slow down just in case, and then if I didn't hear you, I was just going to say the last part very fast. I know that we said we're going to have like new sets this season. You kind of have a new set-ish.
I put up some foam panels that I can't stop touching. And I changed my calendar.
It's not July anymore.
It's not. It's September, except for this is the beginning of August as of recording.
Yeah, everything is going according to plan, question mark.
Yeah, I don't know. My life is backwards and yep, it's the way I like it.
And I didn't really change anything yet. I'm going to be changing things soon, just it didn't go according to plan when we went on our break. So you get the same basic background you've always gotten.
Yay! Rush posters. Woo.
Rush posters. Nine Chanel's Primus, and the cheese face is still
mask.
Back there. That's not going anywhere.
Oh God! And it's funny because every time you're like, oh, I haven't changed the background, I just look and I'm like, cheese mask, and it's just that and Frank Zappa just get my attention right away.
Perfect. And this season, you get to see my microphone as it's always usually off screen. It's on screen this time. Maybe I'll do like the upside down hanging thing and just, you know, that whole
knock your forehead into it.
It gets a little irritating to do that. That's why I don't usually have it like that. But Anyways, I'm pretty sure we should go ahead and just kind of dive deep into this episode. I mean,
Yes.
we're here to talk about music. We took all the time off. We're all refreshed. We're all good to go. Did you listen to any good music along the way?
I listened to the same album for 3 weeks straight. I took a vacation out of the city and it was fantastic. How about yourself?
I didn't listen to the same album for 3 weeks in a row. I barely listened to any music because I didn't have time. So look at that. How exciting.
Ooh,
I did nothing but
brain.
work.
Ooh, that's tough. That's tough.
That is life, c'est la vie, or whatever the hell it is. I think that's it. Yeah. But anyways, that was then. This is now. And now I get to listen to music again, but unfortunately I get to critique it instead of just enjoying it naturally. Although I do enjoy today's album just on its own, long before we actually even started this show. Today is episode 45, and we are looking for the video watchers, whatever. I had the vinyl. We're looking at the Kills No Wow album from 2005. I've had this. This was actually hard to get my hands on for a long time. It wasn't available anywhere, and then eventually just saw it and I was like, okay, I'm getting it.
Yeah, don't care the price. I'm grabbing it.
And there's Alison Mosshart in the back doing the whole hand binocular thing. It's all
Cool.
good.
Cool.
Yes, so I'm gonna just slide that back there to a place you're not gonna be able to see it because me and my microphone are blocking it.
Perfect.
But yes, today is all about the Kills No Wow. This is the first album that we're going to kick off with season 3. So let me tell you a little bit about the band and the album itself. So the Kills are an English-American indie/garage rock duo originally formed in London, England in 2001. The band consists of frontperson Alison Mosshart and guitarist, singer-songwriter Jamie Hintz. The two met while Mosshart's previous band Discount was touring through London. Mosshart met Hintz and eventually began writing together when she moved to London. The duo would sign to Domino Records, a British indie label, in 2001, where they would go on to release their first album, Keep On Your Mean Side. The band wouldn't release another album until 2005's No Wow. It was released in February 2005 under Domino Records and was recorded entirely within 2 weeks. And I'm pretty sure you can kind of notice that in the production a little bit. This album featured a much more minimal approach to the writing as compared to their first album. It was meant to be a less guitar rock driven sound and act as a homage to their post-punk influences. The album was originally going to feature and mainly be recorded on a Moog synthesizer, but was swapped out for guitar when Hintz's Moog broke before entering the studio and couldn't get it fixed in time. So that kind of changed the vibe of the album a little bit. The album has generally favorable reviews, including 4 out of 4 stars from the LA Times, 4.5 out of 5 stars from AllMusic, and 8.3 out of 10 from Pitchfork, and 4 out of 5 from Mojo. The album peaked at number 18 on the US Billboard Heat Seekers chart, number 22 in France, number 27 in Belgium. The album spawned 2 singles, Love is a Deserter and The Good Ones, which made it to number 23 on the UK charts.
Interesting.
Yeah, there's not a lot to read up on this album, but at the same time, like that, it's enough to say. That's all that matters.
There's a lot, if not all of that, I didn't know. Although I did look them up, and she sings for the Dead Weather with Jack White. So I mean, I definitely see that simplicity correlation there.
Oh yeah, and just like the whole they released that song "Treat Me Like Your Mother." I used to really like that song. When that and "Hang You from the Heavens" were like my 2 favorite like Dead Weather songs.
Yeah, never heard him before. I just know he's in it.
Ah, I see. Well, "Treat Me Like Your Mother" is a fantastic song. It's so fucking cool.
Awesome.
But that is the Dead Weather. This is the Kills. So let's go ahead and start discussing the album No Wow with the title track as song number 1, No Wow.
It is interesting how the beginning of the song just reminds me of like a horse gallop. And
I did mention a galloping beat, yes.
Yeah, I like that. I do want to mention this, and it is definitely an overarching comment for the whole album. I like the vocals. I like how clear they are. I like the tone. I like that regardless what else I think, positive or negative, that is definitely a positive whole way through. They sound unprocessed for the most part, maybe a little bit of reverb, but really she just pulls it off all on her own. Thumbs up. I like that. But I was anticipating a little something more coming from the intro, but it stayed moderately the same the entire time. Again, another overarching comment. It was very repetitive.
Yeah, that'll happen. It's like, 2 people writing fairly simplistic music. that has like a grungy, punky kind of feel to it. Very minimal, just not a lot going on. But personally, I found a lot to appreciate out of the entire album, which we'll get into. But we can just start with this one. Yeah, there is kind of like that galloping percussive sounds and everything like that. So it kind of sets a good pace to start the song. And it builds a bit of tension too, because like unlike what you were just saying, I believe there is kind of a build up in this song, and like I know it's not as explosive as a climax as like you would hope, and that can go through the entire album, but like it still builds up in its own way, and it comes to kind of like a louder tension at the end of the track as they're kind of like repeating the refrain and everything like that. Just everything being really minimal though. Like I do like the building layers to the song, like little by little more is being added along the way, which I think is really cool. It still sounds pretty bare, but at the same time it's adding enough to like get noticed.
Yeah,
and it's like every handful of seconds something new is added, so I thought that was a pretty neat thing to do. Songs probably maybe a little longer than it needed to be, but I still think it was a fairly exciting start to the album.
I'd probably listen to this as a background track while working, but I probably wouldn't sit there, focus on it, listen to it as a standalone track.
And now I got to do what I did in the previous season, and I got to wonder whether or not we're going to match on this. I put a mark there, a mark.
All right.
That could be an X mark, a check mark, question mark. You don't know.
I can imagine it's an X.
Every song's an X. Oh yeah. If we have to have at least one match for the first episode of season 3, at least one.
I'm gonna agree as per optimism, but we shall see as we get further in.
And that's fine because it's not a very long album, and even time-wise, it's short too. So
it's like less than 40 minutes for 11 songs.
Yeah, like something like 39 minutes, 11 songs. There originally was 12. Let me check the vinyl because I believe. Yeah, so after No Wow, we wouldn't have ranked this, rated this song anyway, but it's called Telephone Radio Germany, and it's literally just the sound of like a German phone sex line.
Oh, okay.
And it lasts all of like, I don't know, 40 seconds to a minute, so we wouldn't have rated it anyway.
$20 a minute, and they're just like, okay, we're capping it at a minute, record it, and we're done.
Just reach out and touch it. I've heard it a bunch of times, so I actually remember it. All right, so number 2, I don't know why they took it off Spotify, but I guess it was just useless anyway. Number 2, Love is a Deserter. One of the things I really like in this song, and it happens in other ones too, is it's like the 16th note guitar strum does a really good job at like keeping a decent pace through the entire track. Really enjoy that. The dual vocals are pretty cool in this track, and this goes with other tracks too, where they're kind of like it's Jamie and Allison singing on top of each other. So I think that sounds really cool. It has this like weird, messy, lethargic rock kind of feel, and it really suits like the entire attitude and atmosphere of the album. So yeah, I like how you had mentioned in the first song, like sounds more or less unprocessed. And like that's literally everything across the album, the vocals, the instrumentals, like just everything. And I don't know, I appreciate how raw it is and how good it can still sound being so raw and just like unclean. I don't know, I like stuff like this.
So just tailing that comment, I noted that I know we're only 2 songs in, but this reminds me of like going to a local band showcase. It's like you have 6 or 7 bands, you play 3 or 4 songs each. There's just the random bar guy mixing your sound, and that's what I got from this already, and it definitely sort of stretches the whole way. But I do like how this song starts with like the guitar and vocals sort of, I guess, walking together. They're sort of, I don't know, hand in hand. I kind of like that. They follow each other.
Yeah.
I would have been okay if this song ended at the break in the middle, because when it returned, I don't feel like it really added too much. It just sort of replayed bits of the beginning. Aside from some minor guitar slides, which I did notice and definitely appreciated, because like you said, it kind of added a little more as it went on for the last song.
Yeah.
But I just couldn't get over, and I'm going to say this 9 more times, I couldn't get how repetitive it was. I couldn't get over it.
You sound like me on certain past albums where I just feel like this happened again. This happened again.
Yeah. And it's funny because as I'm writing this, all I think is man, he's going to be so disappointed that I'm going to shit on this album. And then I thought, no, he shit on Tom Petty. I don't care. I'm writing what I feel.
Oh, you're just saying that because you just released the I Love This Song video. Go watch it now. It's go ahead and watch the second one.
Well, yes. But no, I think that was the only one that I had picked that I was like, oh, how dare you not? And any other ones with any negative reviews you had, I'm like, no, I can see that. I respect your opinion. But Tom Petty, I was like, oh, shaking fists.
Well, and also I think you were generally happier that I gave like Kevin Gilbert a higher score at the very least.
Hell yeah. You redeemed yourself tenfold with that one.
Exactly. So like wipe that smirk off your face and realize that you're still wrong 3 seasons in.
No, I can't. I deserve this one. You haven't replaced me yet, so you have until season 4. Find a replacement.
Supposing so, and that's a little ways away. So I'll start auditioning people.
Hell yeah, go ahead.
But it's funny because I don't have as much of an emotional connection or nostalgic connection to this album as you do to Tom Petty, so I don't think it's going to hit in the same way that you're hoping, I guess, with your spite.
It's less spite and more comfort with my my opinions, where I'm like, should I say this shit? You know what? I think I wrote it down.
Okay, fair enough. I honestly think this is like a fun track with some like really simple and playful guitar riffs. You kind of already like touched on that a little bit, saying how the vocals and the guitars kind of go with each other. Mm-hmm. Yeah, like I it's very playful in that way. I like it. It's a lot of fun to listen to. And one thing I wrote though, I like this. This song feels like if it were a person, it would try to pick a fight at a bar. It's mostly quiet and unassuming, but the attitude is there.
Yeah.
That's a couple of songs on this album, but this one being like one of the earlier ones gave me that feeling like right away.
I definitely felt like that with one of the later tracks, just with the vocals where they seem a little bit more, I guess, in your face and snarly. And I appreciated that. I was like, okay, nice.
Yeah, Alison Moss are getting a little snarky in the lyrics there.
Yeah.
Vocal presentation. Yeah, some of it sounds pretty cool. Alison Mosshart's a rock star. That's just my blanket statement for the entire album. Like, honestly, everything she's been a part of that I've heard in the past has been pretty damn good, including The Kills and like even their other albums. Mm-hmm. And then she did really good in The Dead Weather and everything like that. Just I don't know. She is like that. It's just the embodiment of just like that rock star without going too crazy with it. So that's one thing I've always appreciated about her.
That's awesome.
All right, so moving on to song number 3, Dead Road 7.
Is this song named for the amount of times they could say road in the first 20 seconds?
Maybe, but I think it's way more than 7.
I was distracted by that, but then I, obviously listened to it more than once. It was fine, but me and Nick got to me enough to write it down. It's just all of it is just so repetitive. This song, to me, it felt like a transitional track because I don't really find it to be too much other than just the same verses and chorus over and over, just back and forth, or I guess back to back, rather. There are parts of the vocal melody that I like, but there are parts that I could live without. The ones that I like are definitely memorable and they kind of stick with me. So when I hear it, I'm like, oh, I recognize that part. Even if I heard the song only once, the second time it feels familiar. And I like that. That's cool. But yeah, that was really all that I had for that one.
Yeah, there's not a whole lot to say because there's not a whole lot going on. This one, as compared to at least the other 2 tracks, are far more quieter and minimal. Mm-hmm. It's very moody, quiet track too. And as I said, far more minimal than the previous 2 tracks so far, although other songs can rival that a bit going forward. Despite being fairly quiet though, like I do like how noisy the guitars get during the chorus though. It's because it gets like really noisy, and I kind of like that. It's really unsettling, kind of keeps you on your toes a little bit. So I just enjoy how that felt, just very aggressive all of a sudden. Mm-hmm. Although another song probably went on a little longer than it should have. Would have been great ending at the 2:40 mark. Didn't really need that last chorus, but it didn't make me hate the song, though. I will say that much.
Yeah, fair enough.
Yeah, and that's all I got for the song too. Yeah, it's hard to have a lot to say for it. That's all.
Yeah, especially like because it's only 2 members and maybe 2 or 3 discernible instruments at one time. So
aside from like minor little percussive things like egg shakers and stuff like that.
Yeah.
And the occasional clapping.
Yeah, that caught me off guard hearing clapping, but I'm kind of like, I I probably wouldn't have thought of that. So I give it to them for adding something by just using the two of them. So they used what they had.
Yeah, and they only had the 2 weeks, right? So they couldn't exactly be picky, and I don't think they had a large budget for the album either. So it's like, let's just use what we have and let's just go for it. I mean, people, most fans tend to love this album too. So hey, there you go.
And it's always funny with things like that where I write my review not knowing like band history, anything about the album, and then you say, oh, they only had 2 weeks, and it's kind of like that light bulb. I'm like, okay, that is explaining 80% of what I wrote down. I'm like, I'm going to say it anyways, but I definitely am starting to understand it. So it pieces it together a little more.
Yeah, and I mean, like, even with raw and minimal music that's like not the Kills, like the other bands, like it might take a little while to write, just depending on what it is and what you're trying to do. But I mean, like, this is pure raw and unclean production, everything, just because of the time limit. Like, some bands would take like maybe a couple months to write an album like this, whereas like, this was like in and out the door in like, I think 12 days or something like that.
Dang.
And I think some of it was even recorded on like a cheap track recorder and like in like their flat and everything like that. So you can definitely hear that.
Yes, I agree.
Alrighty then. So song number 4, The Good Ones. And the very first thing I have for it is like the Casio keyboard drum loop always gets me.
Yeah.
it kind of adds to like the minimalist charm of the entire album, just to use like really kind of corny sounding drum beat, like this very clearly Casio keyboard from Radio Shack.
Oh my God.
But you know what? I can live with it because I do enjoy the rest of the song too. Like, I really like the muddy crunch of the guitars too. Just like, it's not super crunchy, but it's like very muddy though. I'll say that much. It's like a grungy tone that's like oddly enjoyable for me. It's hard to explain. Just, I don't know. It just comes down to, again, just that really raw feeling. I like music when it's really raw and like unpolished. There's something way more honest about it. You're not trying to hide your flaws or mistakes, and this album does that very well.
I can agree with that. They are definitely out on display, whatever they're doing, it's all laid out there. For this one, okay, hearing it the first time, I didn't know if they had any singles, and just a quick glance at the Wikipedia page, I didn't see any. So I'm glad to know that this was released as a single type thing, because that was the first thing I thought was, I like this song, this has to be a single. So yeah, I like the overblown guitar, as I called it, and I do still like the vocals. Her voice sounds nice to me. It is pleasing to my ears.
Yeah, and that's the thing about her voice too. She's like not always 100% in tune, but at the same time, you don't really catch it that much. Yeah. But like, her tone is still great, and she still just kind of puts everything, even if it's like a quieter song, she still put everything she has into it. And again, being untouched, it just still sounds really good the way it is.
Yeah, it's like you're I don't know how to sort of get this mental image out of my head, but I'm standing there maybe 3 people deep from a stage that's like 2 feet off the ground, and you just got these 2 people there, they're playing these songs, and it's just the way that the vocals sound in the headphones, they're a lot closer than the music, so it's like she's speaking right to my face, and I like that. It's like she's just singing to me and me only, and it's kind of has that, like, I don't know, intimate feeling, like when you're at a rock show and they lean over the crowd and they're screaming in your face. I like that. That's cool.
Yeah, the far more intimate performances.
Yeah. And it's just that specific image. And I'm like, I can feel this. I can feel the sweat emanating off the performance. But for this one, it would have been nice, that when the guitar increased in volume near the end, it like rolled into a solo or something. But no, it just ended. That was it. Because I noticed it went up and it was done. I was like, no, I like that. Give me more. But I'm always left sort of longing for the things that I like. And at 3 minutes, 30 seconds, just push it to 4 minutes. Give me a solo.
Well, to be fair, I don't think Jamie Hince is he's not like a lead guitarist per se. Like, he's he's definitely a rhythm guitarist. Like he can. That's why he's like good at doing that much. I don't think he can really solo. But correct me if I'm wrong. Anyone listening, I haven't heard everything from the Kills or Jamie himself. I know he was also in a previous band too. So I don't know. Maybe he can rip, and I don't know, and he just doesn't want to do it for the Kills.
With this song in particular, give me like 6 bars of quarter notes. I would have taken it, especially at the end, and then end it.
But I mean, there was kind of a solo. It's not. It's everything you would hope for, but I would still consider it a solo. He kind of wails just for a little bit on like 2 or 3 notes.
2 or 3 notes. I stand by my demands, but a couple more. Just the melodies may get stuck in my head, but aside from that. I want to venture a guess that they were fairly young when they wrote these songs. I don't know why. It just feels like it.
Probably. If I had to, Jesus, I don't even remember. I think Alison Mosshart's got to be somewhere in her 40s right now.
Yeah.
So they were, yeah, and like she was pretty young when she moved
20s.
to London. I know that much, but I couldn't tell you the age. So yeah, they were probably like, I imagine early 20s, especially when the band formed. They could have been like late teens, early 20s for all I know.
It feels like it has sort of a, not just this song in particular, but I think just sort of like a young, carefree, balls to the wall, this is what I'm going to do feel to it. And I respect that.
Well, yeah, she moved away from the United States and to London to take a chance on this band. So, I mean, like, talk about carefree. Like
that's why she left? Oh.
Yeah, because like, you know, Jamie lived in London. So again, someone correct me if I'm wrong. Like, I want to make sure I'm getting this right. And I think this was, but yeah, she lived in the United States, I believe Florida, if I'm not mistaken. And then, yeah, like she kind of really, she was in her own band. They were touring London, and she's like, oh, you know, I like this guy and I want to take a chance on this. And I like what he does. He likes what I do. And so he likes what I does. But yeah, just, so then she just being carefree, took a chance. And I mean, it paid off in the end because she's like one of those like leading front women now who are just like really badass. And so much so that Jack White took notice.
Yeah. Dang. That's ballsy. That's balls to the wall for sure.
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
I'm just afraid I got that story wrong because I have a tendency to tell stories incorrectly, and then people will correct me in the comments. But like, I read that a long time ago, so there might be some cloudy detail in there. But that's the gist.
That's okay. Everybody, just comment and tell me how wrong Kris is, please. Thank you.
When you say Kris, you just say you instead.
Yes.
So then they'll just turn it back on you very quickly.
Yes, of course.
The only other things I want to say for the good ones, because I never got to finish my last points. The chorus is super catchy, just kind of like you were hinting at as well. Like most of the other tracks, but this one just feels like it's just more fun than some of the other songs. So I was really enjoying listening to this one. And the song kind of has me back and forth. Like, I kind of wish it had picked up more towards the end. But then I'm also happy that it doesn't try to do too much. It's a really enjoyable track without like overstepping any boundaries. And considering how minimal the album is, I couldn't imagine it trying to overstep itself. But you never know. We've heard other bands do weirder shit. So, like the White Stripes.
Yeah.
Here's another male-female duo band and everything like that from the 2000s. And I don't know. I've personally always liked the Kills better, but that's just me.
Yeah. Like I said, when we did the White Stripes, I liked them a lot more when I was younger, but the more you expand your sort of musical taste, you go back to it and you're kind of like, this doesn't have the same that it did. But maybe it was just a product of its time, right?
It was like revolutionary for its. I don't want to say revolution is a strong word, but you know what I mean. It was big for its time.
It led the way for those couple of years. A lot of people.
All right, then let's move on to song number 5. I Hate the Way You Love.
You first, please. I continuously cut you off.
No worries. I'm digging the actual real drum sounds in this song. I think that this is the first song so far on the album that has like a real drum set. So that's pretty cool. I like that. I do like the echoed and super dirty guitars. It's got a very post-rock, garage rock type feel to it. And I always appreciate that kind of stuff. I love sounds like that. Like, it's funny because I never really thought about it before, but like the post-rock and garage rock sound, never really thought about it, but then I start realizing the more I listen to stuff like that, the more I enjoy it. So Probably gonna have to do like a full garage rock album one day and just have me going, I like it. That's all it's gonna be. I always lose track of the time when listening to this particular track, though, only because like it just keeps moving like so consistently throughout that you don't even stop to look at the clock. Like, just the energy is very steady through the entire thing, so you don't really think twice. I would like I would dislike, the abrupt ending, if not for the next track, though. So if anything, I actually appreciate the abrupt ending this time around.
For some reason, at the beginning of this song, I could hear Gwen Stefani singing this. Like, not in her voice, but there are some, I think, minor embellishments in her voice that I could just sort of hear Gwen Stefani singing it. Anyway, let's just not question that. So this song, obviously listen to it more than once. Every single time, you know, when you tune into a song like a half bar too late and the whole song sounds wonky because you just can't get, like, you can't follow it. That's how I felt with this song. I don't know if it was just sort of chugging along too fast for my peanut brain or whatnot, but every time I heard it, it felt kind of wonky. I'm sure at some point listening to it, I shall appreciate, but it made me feel weird. And I'm starting to feel kind of robbed about there's no bass, okay? And I'm starting to really feel it, and it's really starting to stress me out, and I'm starting to get the sweats, and I just wanted to pose the question to you: why would you do this to me?
You know what's funny?
It's the only thing that I love in life.
I didn't even think about it at first, but yeah, I mean, there's like bass replacement in this album.
Well, yeah, but it's not like busting my eardrums or making me feel like I'm gonna vomit because it's like boom, boom in my ears. Like,
it's okay to have a breather from that every once in a while.
No, the air is too thick. I can't breathe it. I want the bass. Give me the bass. Well, but with this one
album,
it is. But I definitely noticed on this one because I'm just like, it feels, I don't know. I miss it. I miss it so much.
We have a whole other season of albums coming up that are full of bass guitar, so don't you worry.
I hope so. I really hope so.
It's one album. God, I feel no pity for it. It's one 39-minute album.
Yeah, we also did the White Stripes, and I was sad during that too.
And that's kind of the same thing too. It had like bass replacement at times.
Yeah, bass drum doesn't count, my friend. But that's it. But
even just like lower end guitar or two, just kind of strumming a little bit in the background. I mean, that's kind of it.
So I didn't make note of it, but there is definitely a song that I noticed that it was lower string, and I'm like, ooh, I like this. But it didn't get lower than that at any point. So I was like, well, I guess I'll just take this. I'll take what I'm given, even if it's just a pea on a plate, like a vegetable.
I'm looking at the track list. Maybe it's Murder Mile you might be looking at.
Maybe.
Because I know that had a lower end and also had Jamie singing in it, but we'll get to that when we get there.
I did mention that.
All right, so we questioned whether or not we were going to rank this next song, but I figured we would because it's not listed as a reprise and it's a part 2 and it's still kind of its own thing. So we're going to go ahead and rank it anyways. I Hate the Way You Love part 2, song number 6. So I'll start this one because I kind of ended my my last review on like a bit of a cliffhanger there, saying like I would dislike the abrupt ending if it wasn't for the next track.
Yes.
So this, I can, if you personally don't like this one, I can understand why. Because like there's not a lot to it. It doesn't feel like there needs to be a lot of point to it. It's extremely repetitive. I mean, realistically, it doesn't feel necessary. It's just like a weird part 2 reprise. But with that said, I really like this song though. Part 1 had the refrain sound like bitter and confrontational, like I hate the way you love, like just the way she said it just sounded a little confrontational. This time it feels a little more sentimental. So like it comes off a lot like gentler and just like almost sad in a way. And I like the way they sing it because they changed like the vocal melody. Like every time they repeat the refrain, like it comes out differently, but then like it loops back on itself. I don't know. I really like that. It's a super catchy loop, very softly paced, easy to sing along to. And this is a really nice halfway point on the album because I believe, I'm not going to reach for the record again, but I believe this is the end of side A. So then you flip over and boom, it goes right to the next track. So it works out well. I like the way it sounds. It's pretty.
There's literally no way that this wouldn't be the end of side A at all.
Oh, look at that side A right there. I hate the way you love part 2, and then goes right over the next one.
Yeah, it definitely sounds like a sort of come down and then flip it over. I have one sentence. This was nothing but a wrung out ending of the previous song and didn't really need to be its own song. I do like it. I don't hate it. I just think that maybe it didn't. I feel it unfair for us to judge this song on its own just because it's so a minute and 46 seconds long. But I feel like unlike I can't recall the song earlier that had a break in the middle and then it came back at the end. I would have liked if part 1 would have sort of, I guess, turned down and then came back up with this at the end, and it was its own standalone track. I guess that's my only gripe, but with the song itself, yeah, it was fine. It's totally fine.
Yeah, it might be a little controversial to rate it though. Like I understand because again, we have like a history of not doing like what we have essentially they're either called reprises or they feel like them.
Yeah.
But because this one didn't really indicate that to me at all, and it felt way different enough from the first one to warrant a ranking, I guess. I don't know. If you've listened to this album and you've heard this song, do you think it was fair for us to rank it at all? Let us know in the comments. I'd actually be very curious because this is one of those ones I was tossed up on. Like, should we do it? Should we not do it? So I'd be very curious to hear everyone else's opinion on it. All right, so let's flip over to side B then. So we'll go to song number 7, At the Back of the Shell.
With the clapping, I imagine this being like a campfire song where everyone's sitting in a circle and they're doing that Stella Ella Ola while singing the song. Yeah, it was cool. I do still like the vocals, and the vocal melody isn't too bad. Not saying that it was in prior songs, but this one I definitely noticed that I enjoyed it. I am starting to grow tired of the overdriven guitar. The repetition so far on this album is really making me drag my feet for getting through the rest of it. Yeah, that was it. I can't. It's so hard to get over it.
I don't know what else you're expecting when you hear what's at the beginning of this album. It's definitely like, this is what you're gonna get. Like it's.
I don't know what I was expecting. This was on the list. This is what we were reviewing, and listening to the first song, I'm like, oh Lord.
Hey, I warned you it was a very minimal album.
Wow.
I like to you would have known, but to our listeners at the very least, I hinted at this album back when we did the White Stripes. Because I said, we have like another duo coming up that I've always liked a lot better, but it's a lot more minimal too.
Yeah, but I don't listen, so there's my fault in that.
Well, even if you don't listen right away, it's recorded and on the internet forever, ever.
That's terrifying. What did you think of this song, Kris? Enough about me.
Well, when it comes to like the dual vocaling that has been happening on the entire album, it's probably the best track for it so far, because there's obviously a lot more energy in their voices going to this one, so it's a lot of fun. A lot of fun. Clapping keeps it a good pace. I really like that the guitar in this song, just because it's like the weird strum pattern, and then just kind of like does the galloping thing at the end again. Like I don't know. I really enjoyed that. It's so interesting how you can make a song feel like that's so bare feels so exciting. I don't know, because they were just doing a lot that just kept picking it up, and again, it's one of those things where they just kept adding like more layers that made it felt better as it was going too. And it was like just these small layers that didn't add too much, but it was just the right amount of ambience to like keep my attention at the very least. It's a short and sweet track, only 2 minutes and 27 seconds. Yes, I'm just looking at my list here. So it got its idea out pretty quick. It sounded great doing it. It didn't add more than it needed to. I've always enjoyed the song, so yeah, I actually like it.
All right. Well, you can just write your little X's on the sheet if you'd like.
I already did.
I don't doubt that.
So neener neener go eat a fucking wiener. It's time to move on to the next song. Song number 8, Sweet Cloud.
Why do I still do this?
You're the one who's like, oh, you haven't fired me yet, but yeah, you have the option to leave.
Yeah, you're right. I do. Shuts down.
Bye.
Shuts down the video.
Oh, cool. Then only
everything.
my score counts. This album's gonna skyrocket. Cool.
Oh yeah. Skyrocket to the sweet clouds, right?
Hell yeah. I'll take it. It works. And it's
All
positive,
right.
so I'll definitely take it.
Oh yeah. You first.
All right. So I really dig the bassy hollow sound of the drums, like a lot of Tom work on this one. Sounds really cool. Adds a lot more power behind the track. And I guess word of the day being minimal, but just with how minimal the production is, it really helps moving along.
Yeah.
So I thought that was great. I love even if it's not a bass guitar, it might just be a lower tune guitar, but the bass note that's like on the off beats.
Mm-hmm.
I thought that was really cool. It sounds way better this way. It keeps the pacing it makes it feel like a lot quicker, because if it was just like accent on the quarter notes, it wouldn't sound as good and the song would feel slower. So like, I don't know, I just did a good job at like keeping the pace up and everything like that. Really like it.
Yeah.
There is something of a guitar solo on this song, and it sounds like it was played through a broken amp on its death rattle. So I thought that was really cool. Again, I love these like broken raw kind of sounds. Like I dig it.
Yeah. They're playing the house instruments at the bar.
Yeah, and they've been there since 1972.
Yes.
All right, what do you got?
Oh my god, you're just scared you're gonna fire me. What's that? More overdriven guitar with the same tone as the other songs, just playing the same house band intro. Oh my god. I did not feel that this needed to be 5 minutes long. I felt like they kind of got everything out 2.5 minutes in. But as soon as I wrote that down, you got that little solo in there. And okay, I appreciated that. It broke it up a little bit. Kind of sounded like the same tone and everything as the rest of the song, but it was different enough that I was okay with it. That's fine. Again, I'm going to say this a million times, and it's not that it's repetitive. It's that her voice is pretty good. I like the intensity of it. 1 point to Gryffindor. I actually added a point when I got to that I guess part of the song I'm speaking of, and I'm like, you know what, this I like this. I'll stick it on. So.
Yeah, there's that point at the end of the song too where she's singing, she starts like yelling, and she's like clearly backing off of the microphone. Yeah. She's like walking across the room while singing it.
I like that because it's one of those like yelling in your face, and you're like, oh, she means business. And I like that. I think that was cool.
And it was so clean coming out too. There wasn't really much of like a snarl or growl in there anywhere. It came out as a very clean yelling tone. So that's kind of nice.
Yeah, she really wants you to just driving that point home, and I like that. Respect it. So,
as I said, Alison Mosshart is a rock star, and I will say that over and over again.
The first time I've ever heard of her or heard her voice, and I feel like this is one of those things. And it's weird. I don't really listen to too many female fronted bands, or I do listen to a lot of like singer-songwriters, whatever. But I feel like this is definitely one that I'm going to follow and just sort of see other things that they've done. And yeah, so if anything comes out of this, it's that. So that's good. As
I said, the Dead Weather's pretty great, and their first single, "Treat Me Like Your Mother," I'm telling you, listen to that one. That's a badass track. I love it. And like it's mainly her singing. Jack comes in every once in a while. Then they have like this kind of like duel at the end with their voices. And if you see the music video, they quite literally duel and shoot each other bloody, and while just standing in a field, and then they just kind of stare at each other and walk away. It's pretty interesting.
I've seen that music video. I can't recall the song, but I believe when it came out, I saw the video. Yeah. Okay. Yeah.
They walk this opposite ways for like ever. Then they turn around and just open fire on each other for like 3 minutes.
Okay. Yeah. I saw that when it came out, but I have to listen to the song again.
Well, that was Alison Mosshart. Now that you've been exposed to her previously.
Comes full circle now.
All right, so we'll keep moving on. We only got 3 songs left. Pretty quick album again. So song number 9, Rodeo Town.
Okay, so we're gonna start on a positive note for once. I would love to hear this song with a full band. I feel like this one has like potential for, I guess not potential, but it would be nice to feel it or hear it a little bit more full. The melody, super pleasing. It is memorable to me. No overdriven. I'm getting too excited for this. I can't even speak. You
don't even like the album so far. It's crazy.
Oh my God. Wow. I like this song. No overdriven guitars here. I don't know if this is what they would consider like a slower track. To me, much better in my opinion. The guitars after the chorus give me a slight Wilco feel, and I like Wilco, so I'll give them that thumbs up.
Well, I mean, that's the most one of the more positive things you said so far about the album. So hey, there is that.
Mm-hmm. The repetition starts to get me, but I mean, I liked it until then, and then I was like, you know what? I feel like they kind of desensitized it to me by now, so it's fine. It's weird.
And again, it's like less than 40 minutes, so sitting through this couldn't have been the worst thing you've ever had to sit through.
No, I think just individual songs. I'm like, okay, I've had a little of enough. But when the album ended, I was like, that was it? Like, that was it? I heard, well, obviously we'll speak on it, but I heard footsteps and went, wait, where are you going? What?
Yeah, she left. See you later.
Yeah. God dang.
Yeah, I do like the come down feeling of this track, though. It is one of those quieter, softer, kind of slower tracks, too. So it's kind of nice. A lot more pronounced percussion in this track too, like as compared to some of the other ones too. So it's like, especially in the chorus, and it makes it like a little bit bouncy and fun while also feeling like a little more chill. So I like the feelings this one invokes, and maybe not lyrically, although we don't do lyrical breakdowns, but I still can't super make heads or tails on any of the lyrics in this album.
Yeah,
I know them pretty well too. Like I can sing along to the tracks, but it's just they're way too metaphorical. Like I don't need my hand held, but at the same time, it's just like I also don't need my hand held in an abstract matter, like an abstract matter.
Yeah, like talking about like red doors in the sky, and yeah, and not that they do, but
Yeah, you're talking about like how clouds make up the thing of the universe, and the planets come from within those clouds, and you're literally just trying to tell me how the lasagna you ate was last night.
Yeah,
so you could just say it was good.
Yeah, just straight up tell me, please. Yeah.
It's funny because like you said, you'd want to hear a whole band perform the song and see what that looks like. I wrote that this feels like the perfect busking song.
Oh, really? Oh my God.
Like I could see someone like this guy and girl sitting outside of like the LCBO or something like that, or the liquor store, to anyone who doesn't know what the LCBO is out there. That's essentially what we have in Ontario. Just 2 people sitting outside the LCBO. One's got a guitar and they're singing this one because it would just go perfect. That's all you really need. And maybe like the guy's playing the guitar because Jamie's playing the guitar, and then like Allison's got like a little like empty water jug that she's using as percussion, and they're just singing this one. I think it'd be perfect for busking.
That's how I feel about most of the songs before this one, but this one definitely I'd like to hear it with a whole band.
And one thing that we always usually like to do too, I just wanted to note that this track is giving me those end of album signals.
Oh yeah.
It's a good track placement for this one, because this one, again, it feels like it's cooling down a little bit, although the next song does pick up quite a bit.
Yeah.
Like it's still far enough into the album where this one feels appropriately placed. So yeah, I think they did a good job putting this one where it is.
Cool.
Okay, moving right along to the penultimate track, number 10, Murder Mile. And my Word document here is trying to correct me that Murder Mile is not one word. I know that, but that's the way they wrote it.
Yeah, shut up.
Stop bossing me around.
Yeah, we just a little aside, we behind the scenes have some gripe against Google, so we write ours in Google Docs. Don't you tell us what to do. We're going to write what we want, Google. Now watch, they're not going to release this, or they're going to block us on YouTube now for slandering their name.
Hey, it took them 2.5 months to fix a problem that would eventually get broken again in 2 days.
Oh my God. They're
I
like,
don't,
here's
I don't want to go too in depth into
solution.
what it is, but it's frustrating. And I'll just say this much. It's a non-issue. It's quite literally a non-issue.
Yeah.
I hate it. But anyways, we're not ripping on Google anymore yet. I don't know. Maybe we'll do that on a platform where Google can't find us.
Yeah.
Murder Mile, that's song number 10.
You first.
I see your water in your hand there. Okay, I'll do it. This is feeling like a bit like some of the other tracks we've heard so far on the album before. It's not necessarily a bad thing though, since we're like close to the end of the album, so it's just something you can kind of get by, especially considering like the combined last two songs are roughly 7 minutes and some odd seconds, so it's not even that much to get through. It's not that bad.
Yeah.
I like that this one has like accented quarter notes in the verse. It brought up the energy a lot. I know as compared to one of the other songs when I was like, oh, I like how this bass note's on the offbeats, but like everything was on the quarter notes with this one. I just made it a lot more fun to get through, I guess.
Mm-hmm.
And yeah, Jamie actually has a solo moment of vocals in this song quite a few times. The chorus, really, like the refrain. His voice is so quiet. It's like a little mysterious, sounds a little bit frustrated, like obviously sounds quite tired. Interesting choice to put on the album, but like if that's how he is while he's singing, that's fine too, because it matches what they're doing in the album and like the mood and vibe it's putting off.
Yes, that was my very first note. I do appreciate how there are two voices playing off each other. They sound nice and complimenting because the male voice is quite quiet. So she's at a 8 and he's at a 2, but they meet together, or they meet in the middle. And I like that. And you're speaking of the vocal layering earlier in the album. I don't know whether I just didn't notice it or if I didn't pay close enough attention. But this one, you cannot ignore it. Like you said, he's got a little solo sort of chorus part in there. And it's definitely, you have to notice it. I liked it. Sounded great to me. It's not my favorite thing to constantly hear this overdriven guitar over and over. And it really sounds like they own just one pedal or know how to program just one setting. But
that's entirely possible. Again, they just probably sat in a room with an 8-track recorder.
See, and I didn't know this when I wrote it, but it's starting to all make sense now. I did like the strumming guitar melody. That was nice, but I did think that it was a little too long. Don't know where I would have cut it, but it felt a little long.
Yeah, they kind of stretched it out a little bit at the end there, but it's fine. We're getting close to the end. I can't be too mad about it.
I could.
Of course you would. All right, song number 11, the finale of the album, the quite quiet Ticket Man.
Mm-hmm. Has a bluesy feel to it. I like it.
That doesn't surprise me because that's some of the inspirations that they have aside from just like post rock and garage rock and everything like that.
Yeah, I could definitely feel it right from the very beginning. Now, I am not a musician by any stretch at all, but I would like to venture a guess that I could play the piano to this song first try.
All 3 notes, are you sure?
All 3 notes. I even counted. I was like, oh, they're all whole notes. I could do that.
Oh, no, there's like half note, whole note. Gotcha.
It doesn't matter.
Now you have to learn music theory all over again.
I was just counting it like whole note, rest. So.
Damn. That's one way to count the song. It'd be a lot longer if that was the case.
Yeah, well, whatever. Sue me. Again, I'll please make that an entire episode. How I sued my co-host.
Oh, then we get to have that like long crime TV thing, and just like we're gonna be on TV while we're in the courtroom and stuff like that, and it's gonna be the most pointless case ever.
Oh my God, ridiculous. I did just want to point out that I did say I'm not a musician by any stretch, but
as you stated,
with this song in particular, I would love to hear the vocals go into full-on diva with like vocal flourishes and everything.
I would hate it.
Oh my God. But it was just, there are some parts in this song that like, I don't know. It's just, there's just something about her voice. I was entranced is really what it was. This one sounds like the end of an album song. It threw "Hey, We're Over" at me.
Yeah. And Yeah, because it is quiet. It's just the piano and everything like that. And this is that track that has like, the walkout at the end and everything like that. I do mention that, so I'll mention that in just a moment.
Yeah.
It's funny because the song is just under 3 minutes, but it's probably too long for what it has to offer, which isn't a whole lot. There's like this dead note strum on a guitar that feels like a ticking clock, and it made it feel like it was building up to something, but oops, they forgot the something. So it was just the 3-note guitar and like that for 2.5 minutes.
Yeah, it's a clock dying.
Yeah, and like the longer the song goes on, the more the chorus kind of annoyed me. Here's the ticket. What's the problem? Too many tickets is the problem, man.
And just that like
100 times.
It took you 11 songs for you to be like, oh, it's they're just saying the same thing over and no. You have a lot more patience than I do.
Because the other songs were at least fun. Like this one, just I don't know. It was really repetitive. There was even less going on than other songs, and so just it was hard to get anything out of it.
Yeah.
And just like I've heard tracks before where someone like either enters a room and starts a song, or someone like leaves when it's all done. I don't get why bands decide to do this. It never really adds anything to a song when it is in there. It's never it's never relevant at all either. Like I don't know. I've heard it so many times too. I think the only time it ever kind of made any sense to me was listening to, I think it was Daddy by Korn. And like, there's like the entire last 3 minutes when Jonathan Davis is just crying in the studio. It's kind of hard to listen to, but then he just kind of eventually gets up and walks out. You can hear him just like, okay, he had his moment. It's time to go. Okay. But like every other time you hear it in every other song though, it's just like, why? You could have just stopped the tape a long time ago. You could have edited this part out. What did your 2-week time limit like end? Did your budget end?
Or like with the song title, all I think is like a train. So even if it ended with like, getting off a train, hearing it in the background, and then it fades out and the song ends, that would make sense. Cause like, well, obviously I don't know what it's about, but just something like that, just going off the title. I'm like, oh, that would make sense. But just sort of, I don't know, hard footsteps on a wooden floor, then you leave. And it's
then
like
you hear a door close.
Yeah. And you're like, where are you? What is this? I don't get it.
You forgot to hit the stop button.
Yeah. Yeah.
Imagine cutting out an additional 26 minutes of silence after they had gone to the bar. Oh shit, we didn't press stop, did we?
Okay, just like Mr. Bungle, where it's just their train hopping or pooping, and I'm just like, stop it.
Oh, yeah, the part where they took the shit. Yeah, I remember that.
Fucking stop it.
But even if they did have like some sort of like, train feeling at the end of this one, I don't know. This album doesn't really do much in the way of like audio storytelling, like outside of lyrics. Like it doesn't do like instrumental storytelling. So it would feel weird if they did that. Actually, it's like, why though?
Yeah.
But again, like that's very likely not what the song's about. I get why you think that, because like that's just kind of what leads to believe. But again, it's hard for me to make heads or tails of these songs. Maybe I'm dumb. Maybe I'm not paying close enough attention. I don't know.
Yeah.
Alrighty then. We are at the end of the album, all 11 songs on The Kills. No, wow, we made it all the way in. So thank you very much for joining us. And hopefully you checked out the album. If you did, make sure you let us know what you thought of this album down in the comments below of wherever you may be listening. YouTube, the audio platforms, doesn't really matter. We are, of course, always curious to know what you think about these albums. You can also let us know on our social medias, and everything like that can all be found over at ratetherecord.ca. So make sure you check that out. Go to our socials. Let us know what you thought of the album that we listened to today.
Woo.
Hooray, hurrah. Okay, so that means, for the first time this season, we can finally bring back the song ranking screen. So I think we'll just go ahead and do that now. So above our heads, boom, graphics have changed. Hello, welcome back up there, old friends. Names and numbers that need songs next to them.
Yeah.
Not too many this time around, 22 numbers all around. We've done much longer ones, so I'm thankful for the smaller numbers.
Yeah. Okay, so I just want to throw this in now. You said, we have to get one match. I don't think we're gonna get any.
I have one check mark.
Really?
I have one check mark. I have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 X's and 4 question marks.
Okay, well, shit then. All right. I'm just gonna shut up and just see where this goes.
I will say for sure, like I won't say what order things are in, but I will say the first and last songs are X's.
Yeah, I don't doubt that at all.
All right, let's get this started. Let's do this, and I will get it kicked off as per usual. Song number 11, Ticket Man.
I Hate the Way You Love Part 2.
I hate PT2. I had that one as an X. Yes, I understand.
Yeah, I didn't hate the song, but I mean, it didn't really give me much to go on, so it had to lay somewhere.
I also like how noisy that track kind of was too. I like stuff like that. I don't know. I'm weird. All right.
Yes.
Number 10, Dead Road 7.
Sweet Cloud.
That was my check mark, by the way. Dead Road 7 was my check mark, but you put Sweet Cloud. Okay. But that doesn't mean we won't match. I mean, could very well happen.
We have had surprises before.
We have, like this one, number 9, Murder Mile.
At the back of the shelf.
That wasn't the answer I was expecting.
It is not. It's not the one you got.
Murder Mile. Okay, number 8, Love is a Deserter.
I Hate the Way You Love Part 1. It is a deserter because we definitely did not match.
No, I mean, we're not quite running out yet, but we're we're kind of getting there. Shit. Number 7, No Wow.
Dead Road 7.
Damn.
I don't know, right?
Number 6, Rodeo Town.
Yeah, oh my God, thank God.
Ah, we got one. Okay, okay.
Thank God.
I actually, I put an X on that one because I thought you were going to rank it a little higher from the way you were talking about it.
Yeah.
Okay. Well, not this one, though. Number 5, I Hate the Way You Love Part 1.
Murder Mile. Some of these are just separated by 0.5 of a point, so.
Fair enough, yeah. Yeah, some of mine are too, like, yeah, you go down the list is like, it'll say like 6.5, 7, 7.5, 8, 8.5, like that kind of thing. So, or multiple will have one number and then one will have just 0.5 higher.
Yep.
Let's see, number 4, The Good Ones.
No Wow.
No Wow. Oh, you ranked that one higher than me. That one.
All I hear every time I say it or like read it, all I hear is Owen Wilson. Wow.
There ain't no wow now.
Wow.
Now I'm thinking about it.
Sick.
Number 3, I Hate the Way You Love Part 2.
Ticket Man.
Here's the ticket. What's the problem? That can be my new accent to do.
Oh my God, just please.
Bob Dylan covering Ticket Man? Yes, please.
You know what? Just the title, I can hear. Yeah,
Here's the ticket. Too many tickets, man. What's the problem with all these tickets? The ticket man taking my tickets. He's a man with a problem. The problem is tickets.
I wish I was fucking dead. I wish I was dead.
We'll all be dead one day. Song number 2, Sweet Cloud.
Love is a deserter.
Love is a dessert.
Yeah, that's exactly what I was gonna say. I'm like, wait, hold on.
Yeah, that's exactly what I wrote. All right, and song number 1, At the Back of the Shell.
Les Good Ones.
The Good Ones. Yeah, that's fair enough. I put that one as number 4, but I do like that one.
Yeah.
Let me put a big old check mark to Rodeo Town. We got at least, as I said, we need at least one to kick off the season. That's all I give a shit about at this point.
Oh, hell yeah. Now, if only next week we get 2 and then 3 and then what would happen if we matched an entire album? Like what would that be? Would that be like some sort of celebration?
Well, yeah. And like we would have to buy an expensive gold print of that record to have as a decoration because that record meant everything at that point.
Ooh, excellent.
So we need to get Tools Anima framed, not gold record, but just framed because it's the number 1 album of all time and likely not going to get beaten at this point. But yeah, if we got like every thing matches on an album, we'd have to get like the gold print.
Oh my God, would that solidify our friendship, or would it just be like?
It depends on the album.
I guess
it can't just be any album. Jeez,
so Backstreet Boys, Backstreet's Back. If we match all of that, we just would never do this show ever again, right?
If that one matched, then I think like 10-year-old you and 10-year-old me would have to high five or something like that.
Fantastic. I'm down for that.
All right. Well, while we try to get in touch with our 10-year-old selves, it's time to go ahead and rate the album. We got a lot of work to do for that, but all right. So let's go ahead and transition screens. Whoosh. Well, would you look at that? The album rating screen. It looks so marvelous and wonderful, doesn't it?
Oh my god.
Actually, it is funny because it is our brand new album rating screen to those who haven't seen it yet. Those on Ko-fi maybe have probably seen it. Wink, nudge. Just saying that right now, but we have to continue on with this album. But yeah, brand new, because as we mentioned before, I don't know if we've mentioned before, but regardless, the S and F tiers were likely never being touched. So we decided to take them out. So now the A tier is 80 to 100%, and the D tier is 60 to 0%. So that way, all 4 tiers will now have albums in them. And just, I don't know, it kind of looks better this way. I like this.
Yeah, no more crickets or spider webs.
Oh, in yours, I'm still keeping that one because see, at least in my personal tier list, I have a record in every single tier.
Yeah, well, I have higher standards, so.
That or you're just way too picky.
Damn right I am.
And let's see how picky you are with today's album because we got to figure out where upon this list it's going to go. And I had an idea that it might be a B tier album just to start off season 3 because that was the biggest issue of season 2.
Oh, of course.
Tier galore.
Of course.
But now we are in season 3, which alphabetically is the letter C. So, C tier album City. C tier City. Let's do it.
Uh-oh. All right. Well, going with the trend, I am going first since you chose the album.
Absolutely.
Now, the album score was much higher than I thought it was going to be, but you know what? I stand behind it. There are a few songs I would definitely listen to again, but some I wouldn't. Now, just a quick question because I'm definitely dragging my feet here.
Yeah, you are. It's suspenseful.
The B tier, what is the scale for that again?
It's just 70 to 80%.
That's 70 to 80. Yeah, I gave it a 60 even.
60%.
Yeah, from as I was listening to it, I'm like doing all the rankings of the songs and then adding it all up. I was like, oh shit, okay. Probably not as high as you want, but it's higher than I thought. So
while you were talking about the album, I had in my head that you were going to give it a 63. So I actually got pretty close.
Not bad, not bad.
I would prefer it to be higher, but I mean,
still bad, but not bad.
Well, you gave it a 60 even. I was obviously, what's that?
It's a B tier, isn't it?
Well, for me at the very least, because it's obviously I own the vinyl, so I like the album.
Yes.
So I gave it a 79.54. So going with the season 3 C tier City, it comes out to 69.77% C plus.
Oh my god, I thought it was going to hit
C tier City.
Oh my
C
god.
tier City.
All right. So it was 69 point which?
7.7.
All right.
It's like right up there.
Between Pitch Shifter and Red Hot Chili Peppers.
Ooh, it's right up there, isn't it? So wait, that means it's at the very top of the C plus tier then, because Red Hot Chili Peppers I know is in the B tier. It's the bottom of the B tier.
That one is 70.34. So yes.
Okay, cool. So this one takes over the top ranking of the C tier. I'll deal with that. I mean, that's not the worst it could possibly be, but it's not as good as it could be. But hey, you know what? We started on the C tier, but not a B tier like I thought we were going to. Originally, I thought it was going to be somewhere in the B for sure.
You know, C tier is starting to sound like, come on, give it more, come on.
But at the same time, I don't know, it feels like more of a relief to hear a C tier album now, only because like, look at the B tier, look at it, it's stacked.
That's true. Yeah, B tier stands for bump it up. Come on, just give it an A, bump it up. And A is, I was gonna say I haven't thought that far ahead.
The relaxing
Yes.
All right, 69.77. That's where it's going to be. C plus album.
Interesting.
Well, the good news is that it's not a B tier album. I mean, I kind of wish it was, only because that way it would be a little higher. But whatever. C plus 69.77. There you go. That's where the Kills No Wow lands for the very first episode of season 3.
Heck yes, they're standing there with their boots kicking away all the other albums, standing on top of the mountain. Of the C tier.
I was gonna say stand on top of Pitch Shifter and stuff like that, but
yes, it's like standing on top of a mountain of like zombies crawling up to you and you're just kicking them down because you are.
Now you see that would have been such a great analogy if it was just on top of a Rob Zombie album or White Zombie album.
Dang, yes.
Or the Zombies. Although chances are we're never going to cover the Zombies on here. Yeah. A little too old, but hey, you never know. It's a request. We very well might.
Who knows?
But anyways, yeah, that's it. That's the very first episode back for season 3. What a ride it's been. So thank you very much for joining us on this episode. We sure do hope you like what you saw today. Again, just like you can do by telling us what you thought of the album, tell us where you rated the record, rank the songs, and everything like that. Again, down in the comments of wherever you may be listening to this, the audio platforms, the video platform, doesn't really matter. There's a comment box somewhere, a review box somewhere. So go ahead and do that, or let us know on our socials at Rate the Record Podcast over on Facebook, Instagram, Twitter, TikTok, all that stuff. It could all be found on ratetherecord.ca. And just another thing too, probably should have said this at the beginning, but that 100 subscribers thing, we're still looking to do that this season. So once we hit 100 subscribers, we're going to be doing record giveaways, 1 record a month for every month. We are over 100 subs, and a record that you've heard on this show before. So if you want a chance to win a free record, make sure you've subscribed to the show. Make sure everyone you know has, because boy, we want to get to that real soon.
Yeah, we want to buy your love and you want a free album. So we all win.
Yeah, subscribe for free and you get a free album. But if you feel like pitching in a little money, you can do that too. You can go to Ko-fi.com/ratetherecord if you want to support the show financially, completely optional. But I can tell you, you're going to get a buttload of stuff. A buttload, I mean, it's pretty small, but it's still pretty cool. Yes, I said butt. You will get a shout out at the beginning of the next episode, that like the one that you had signed up for prior to that episode. Whatever, I'm saying that really awkwardly. You're gonna get a shout out. Your name's gonna be in a thank you card at the end of the episode. You get to watch bonus content that we post exclusively over to Ko-fi, which by the time this video drops, I'm hoping that the very first bonus episode for Ko-fi will finally be up. We already recorded it like 3 or 4 weeks ago, so
yeah.
I just have to get around to editing the damn thing. It shouldn't take long because it's not that long, but still, it's kind of like Rate the Record, but a lot shorter, a lot cooler. You want to check it out.
Yeah.
So yeah, definitely go ahead and look at that. And also too, we might review one of your band's songs if you want us to. If you become part of the RTR Club, we'd have no problem with listening to some of your music. So if you want us to review one of your songs on Ko-fi, we will do that too.
Damn right. You
like
want to listen to more of my opinions? I bet you don't. So you should join.
You want your song crapped on by non-professional music reviewers? Where are your people?
Damn right. We're just people just like you. Except
exactly.
You're probably more talented.
I mean, if you're making albums and you're sending us music, then by all means, yes. Chances are you are far more talented. Now, I'm a musician. You're still more talented than me. But anyways, yeah, those are all the things you could do. It's all found down in the descriptions over at ratetherecord.ca. Wherever you want, it's all there, all the information you're going to need. So check all of that out.
Hell yes.
So just before we let you go on today's episode, as we do with the other 2 seasons, and we're carrying it on with this season, we do like to give a little bit of a sneak preview of what to expect in next week's show. And next week will be Savannah's first album of season 3. And I'm pretty sure it's going to be such a complex puzzle of a hint this week. So what do you got?
This band's highest selling song is a campfire staple.
Take It Easy by the Eagles.
That's a pretty good song, though.
Yacht Rock Around the Fire. Hell yeah.
Okay, now I'm just not going to go on a tangent here, but I am going to say this one sentence. Yacht Rock, fire. That's all.
That's a hot take.
Oh, I love it.
With the fire, but still.
Yeah. No, I'm so into it. Okay, Michael McDonald. Mwah.
Jimmy Buffett.
What's that guy's name? Not Crosby. Steven Stills. Mwah. I'm into it.
Oh, so you don't like Crosby and Nash, you just like Stills.
I don't know. I like his voice.
I see. Well, we're doing the Eagles next week, I guess, and we're going to specifically talk about Take It Easy, so you might want to tune in for that.
Definitely.
So until we see you again next week, go listen to some awesome music, and we will see you again real soon. So take care, friends.
Bye-bye.